Unlock your success and feel confident starting a side business. Today's episode is sponsored by Billy Keels Advisory Services. If you want to learn more about how to make your 99 optional, just go to makeitoptional.com. Once again, that's makeitoptional.com.
Helping you build freedom without losing your edge. This is the Going Long podcast with Billy Keels.
Unlock your success and feel comfortable starting a side business. It's one of those things that happened for me. It was really, really scary when it was happening, what I felt was to me. But if you are having these feelings, you have this voice that's inside of you and it's saying that you should start and you're feeling torn because you're in a corporate role that you really, really like and you just don't know what to do, then just give me a couple of minutes. Not going to be a very long episode. You know how I like to keep these solo episodes very short. But I want to help you to get to a point where you can start to unlock success, stop feeling trapped, and start feeling much more confident in being able to follow that curiosity as it relates to building a side business. Because I went there, I've been there, I've done that. And I know that prior to 2008, I hadn't really given much thought to it. And then there was a conversation that I had with my then boss, who was higher up on the org chart than I was. I was making really good money. And I was like, this guy must be making a whole lot more money than me. And I realized that this conversation about how he was also able to focus his time, effort, or some of his time, effort, and energy, I should say, and this was a business he was building with his spouse on the side, it really got my curiosity started. Because up until then, I was just pretty much like, I didn't know much about investing at all. I thought investing was savings. I played a little bit in the stock market, but not too terribly much. Big for my level at that point in time. I've since learned a whole heck of a lot more. And the thing of it is that the reality is, based on where I was at that point in my life, like I was super comfortable in my corporate role. Like up until that conversation, I was just going through the motions. But that voice, that conversation set off a voice in my mind that I could never, ever shut up. Ever. I couldn't turn it down anymore. And there was some things that were happening because even at that moment in time, and I've shared it many times on the podcast, I wanted to become the CEO of a really big company, of the company that I was working for at the time, which is a market leading company, 150,000 employees. I wanted to get to the top when I started, but something changed after that conversation. And I didn't even have kids yet. I wasn't even married, but something inside of me changed. I was going to, going down that path, but I wanted to be able to make money on my own and also make my loved ones proud, right? Because that is important to me. That was important and is important and probably always will be important to me. Just a little insight into your host. So because I didn't have the knowledge, but my curiosity was piqued, what did I do? Well, like most high achievers, like most A students, I started learning. I went to YouTube. I was watching videos. I was listening to podcasts hour after hour after hour. And as I've mentioned, I was a theoretical ninja. There was nothing you could have asked me about the vehicle that I was choosing at the time was real estate that I did not know theoretically. Why? Because, I spent a lot of time doing my job, overperforming, making my bonuses, leading my teams. And then it was all about what I needed to learn about this new thing, this new voice in my ear that I could not get to shut up. I tried to ignore it. It only got louder. The perfectionist in me kept me going for a while. And, at the time I was going through marriage and having kids and performing in my job. And I thought, I don't want to risk all that kind of stuff. But anyway, because I saw my boss do it, I knew that it was possible. If he was doing it, living in Spain, investing in another place, which was back in Scotland, then I could be here and invest back in the United States. Why not? Because I didn't like the numbers where I was living in Spain. Spain, for me, not a market that I would ever want to invest in. Still don't, but it is what it is. So as I put my plan together, I learned more. I built my timeline, and I had to finally, because I was starting to really get frustrated with myself. I was mentally prepared, but I had to figure out, okay, well, what action was I really able to take? Because really, remember, I wanted to unlock real success, and I want you to unlock real success, and I want you to start feeling confident in being able to create a side business, because I was going through all the theoretical motion, but I wasn't taking real action to move closer to the goal. And I don't want that for you, which is why I'm sharing it with you, because I went through all that. But then here's the step that was really important. I got prepared to figure out how much money am I willing to lose? Like literally had the conversation with myself. I'm willing to lose X amount of money. It means if I put it here and I lose it all, I'm going to be not happy, but at least I will have tried something. And my other thing was I didn't want to do anything that was going to make me lose my job. I had to figure out how to do this thing on the side and not lose my job, even though it was just kind of like the first investment. But I knew that most importantly, no matter what, I had to take action like I always had in my life, whether that was leaving home to go to college in a new town, leaving that town to go to a place where I was traveling around the world, 58 countries in 5 years, or making the decision to go on a 1-year sabbatical back in September of 2001, which has now been 24 years, 3 countries, multiple languages, multiple cities. I had to take action because that is what built the muscle to become much more quote unquote successful, which is exactly what I want you to unlock. And it also has helped me to feel confident because I knew that I could continue to thrive. I could continue to move forward. And even with the plan, here's the thing. Even though I had this plan, even though I knew how much money I wanted to, that I was willing to lose, I still doubted because I was going from theory to practice. I still feared losing my job. I still feared that people around me were going to go like, what is this guy losing in productivity? Is he not as focused as he was before? All of those fears and doubts, they were still happening. I realize, and this is one of the things that I help guide my clients through, you are not a super person, right? You're not super person. And these are part of the process, these emotions, these self-doubt. Accept them and don't allow them to have you in a state of paralysis analysis. Continue, recognize them and move on. Because for 5 years, it took me forever. I was stuck in paralysis analysis, which is why I recognize it and why I help you break through it, right? But I finally got to that first rental property, that very first rental property. And that became my first predictable stream of income. And that was the thing that set me free. I realized that I could do it. I didn't lose all my money. I lost money, don't get me wrong, but I didn't lose it all. But I had much more confidence. I had much more control because that what didn't start and started as an investment became a side business. It has to start with the first step, right? And if you're already at the first step and you want it to grow, you want it to scale without adding a lot more time, that's a different thing, but that's also possible. Ask me how I know. And the most important thing, because as I said to you, I want to help you to unlock your success and feel confident in starting a side business, is I finally made the leap. I knew that it was okay, that I could continue to be successful and achieve the key performance indicators, KPIs in my day job, and have a business on the side. I made that leap. I broke through what I thought was not possible. And that's why I'm sharing it with you. But you have to have a clear plan. You have to have a hard conversation with yourself. Is what is it that you're willing to lose? Where are the boundaries that where do you stop? Or think about it a different way. Where will you start? That's the thing. And if it's not you who's struggling with unlocking the success and feeling like you want ready to start the side business, or really what's the first step or what's the next step, if it's not you, if it is you, listen to the episode, listen to it again. If it's not you and you know somebody who's struggling with this, share the episode, but then show them that you care, get on the phone with them, talk about it, go from theory to action, like I say all the time. And while you're doing that, guess where I'll be? Yeah, I'll still be right here preparing for the next episode. So until then, go ahead and make it a great day. And thank you very, very much.